I'm Jerry Purvis for StarHerald.com, and welcome to another edition of Table Talk. NPPD, the Nebraska Public Power District, is observing their 50th anniversary this year, and our guest today is Tim Arlt, NPPD's Vice President and Retail General Manager. Thank you for joining us this morning, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jerry.
First off, observing 50 years, tell us a little about the history of NPPD and your mission to provide electricity to the citizens.
Excellent. Our mission is to safely generate and provide outstanding customer service for the residents of the great state of Nebraska, Scottsbluff being one of the communities that we do serve. And it is our 50th year of existence. We were formed based on a merger between Consumers Electric, the Nebraska Transmission System, and the Nebraska Public Power System to create what NPPD is today. And we are a vertically integrated utility, so what that means is we have the generation, and we have the transmission and distribution system, and then we also provide the end-use customer service all the way down to the end-use meters. So it's been a wonderful 50 years. We've evolved greatly over that time. We've put in coal-fired generation, we've put in nuclear generation, we operate an irrigation canal system to irrigate the crops and part of the agriculture community in the state. And we have now been moving towards a renewable portfolio with wind generation and solar generation.
So how did you get involved with alternative energies, solar and wind? What piqued your interest about that?
Well, originally we set a goal, the organization set a goal to be 10% renewable by 2020, and that goal was established, I want to say, over 10 years ago. So we gradually have been moving in that direction for quite some time. Our board had a vision that they could see some movement in the industry as far back as 10 years ago and set a modest goal of 10% renewable, which we have achieved. Lately, in the most recent 5 years, we've made a push towards doing more community solar based on input we've received from the communities that we serve. Scottsbluff was one of the first movers in a community solar project. In fact, they had asked us questions about a potential community solar garden as early as 2015. We weren't ready as a utility yet to embark upon that path, but soon we turned the tide and went after a community solar project here in Scottsbluff.
Okay, it was on March 1st that you launched your second solar array project here in Scottsbluff. Tell us about both of the solar projects you've done so far here and how they fit in with your overall energy portfolio.
Yeah, excellent. The first project that's at the Nebraska Public Power District local office is about 128 kilowatts, and that was the first community solar project landed in the state of Nebraska. We decided to move in that direction based on input from the community. We did do some open houses and gathered input, and then that project sold out almost immediately. Within 2 days. So obviously the community embraced the renewable aspect of it. And so that began further discussions on could they do more. And ultimately they decided to go up to 10% of Scottsbluff load, which the new project does put Scottsbluff at 10% renewable. And that it could serve approximately roughly 655 homes during the sunlight hours, that project that just launched here in March. So it is the the third largest community solar project in the state of Nebraska to date. And the pricing for this project is really advantageous. It comes in underneath our embedded energy supply costs, so it creates a bill credit for those residents who have participated and enrolled in the project.
Mhm. So how can the public get involved in this solar project if they want to buy into it?
There's a couple of ways. They can certainly stop by our local office, or they can go onto our website, the Sunwise Energy program. There's a link on our website to enroll in the program. I believe, based on information I seen yesterday, that the second project has been sold out. So we don't have any shares available right now, but as people either move away from the community or move to a different location, some shares would free up at that time. I do think it speaks extremely well of the community, because both of the solar projects have been sold out within a week and 10 days of their onset, which is a really strong message from the community.
Okay. In some of the other communities around the state, are you doing solar projects, and how are they well accepted there as well?
We do have a number of community solar projects. Venango and Scottsbluff were the first two that launched. They were both in the western part of the state. We also have community solar in Kearney, Nebraska. Norfolk, Nebraska is embarking upon a community solar project. York is embarking upon it. They're in various stages of development. Ogallala and Chadron are both inside the pipeline for community solar projects. Atkinson, Loop City, now most recently Plattsmouth has contacted us to see what it would take to put in community solar. So it's gaining a lot of ground and a lot of momentum, and we believe it's responsive to the communities that we serve. So we form partnerships with our communities to embark and develop and put in community solar projects.
Okay. Federal regulations, state regulations, those are always an important part in the electric generation industry. So what are some of the advantages of a public power district over a privately owned company or some other form of company?
Yeah, a great question. Nebraska is the only total public power state in the union, and what that means is that every resident and business is served by a public power organization, whether it's a municipality or a public power district. And so what does that mean? Well, public power sets its rates based on cost of service. So there's no additional cost inside of the rate to pay dividends or interest to some of the bondholders. It's just not part of our model. So the dividend that goes to an independent power provider, we don't have that cost associated with our rates. So that indeed provides a benefit to all the consumers through the form of lower cost. Now, that doesn't mean every public power district or public utility has the lowest cost inside of their state, but it does reduce the burden to the end users, and they're not paying, they're just paying for the cost of the service. So that's really what the public power model promotes. It's a wonderful model because it cuts out all the middlemen. It does not pay anything more than what it actually costs to deliver and provide electric service to the residents that it serves.
So does that also give you an efficiency and response time for emergencies in case of weather outages, things like that?
Actually, from an operation of the utility, it doesn't provide many benefits. It's more in the rate and any add-ons to the rate that would have to go to the dividend. NPPDs, and the state of Nebraska for that matter, has some of the best reliability, and that's due to the work ethic of the people that we hire and their passion to make sure that their community has power when they need power. Nebraska as a state is #1 in reliability, and NPPD's reliability numbers are in the top decile. So we help promote and support where Nebraska is as a state when it comes to reliability. So we don't have rolling blackouts as maybe some out west or out east would happen to see. We're pretty solid when it comes to making sure we're always there when you need us.
So what do you see looking into the future?
What does Tim see looking into the future? I see a continued movement towards less carbon emitting resources. I also see technology being part of the very fabric of all electrical providers. We've recently put in an AMI metering platform at NPPD. We just got done converting the community of Scotts Bluff. And we're launching our web portal. It'll be next month when that officially goes live. And what that does is it allows the consumer to see their usage on a real-time basis using their smartphone or their iPad or iPod. And they can tell what they're consuming right away. They can communicate with NPPD. They can look at what their neighbors or someone with a similar size household is using to kind of compare themselves from a usage perspective. And it's got a number of features on it that we're really excited about to roll out. And so I see two things, a less carbon intensive energy supply portfolio and leveraging technology to make us as efficient and cost effective as we can be.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Tim.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate the opportunity.
Right. You've been listening to Table Talk. I'm Jerry Purvis for StarHerald.com.